Rise and shine, the day's begun. Feel the glow of the morning sun. At Bodhisudya, our hearts align. Sacred service in bed is divine. Oh, Sunday morning, let's break the gray. Shake the dust and light the way. Clear the energy, make it bright. Start the week off, oh so right. Bed's a temple, soft and true. Prayers rise in the things we do. Magic's brewing, it's no disguise. Love ignites under open skies. On Sunday morning, let's break the gray. Shake the dust and light the way. Clear the energy, make it bright. Start the week off, oh so right.
Hello, VIPs and Rich Witch Coven. Welcome to the second episode of Sunday Service. I'm so excited about it. Thank you guys so much for showing up and asking questions and giving feedback. It was great. I have to say, I really enjoy not being on Etsy anymore because I feel like I can interact with people more. And thank you to you guys who scheduled the one-on-one calls. I think that works great because you can book it when you want to. You don't have to wait to go back and forth with me. It's awesome. Most of you could schedule the same day. That was great. So yeah, things are going much, much better. This is more what I wanted to do. I wanted more focused, more, aftercare, personal attention, that kind of thing, because I really want to help you guys shift this, get through this. You're making this huge shift where you're going to be in the flow. You're going to be able to do all this stuff yourself. This is what I wanted. I'm so excited. Okay, well, let's get to it. So once again, if you're sensitive to sound, turn your volume down for a sec. I'm going to go ahead and hit the singing bowl, clear some energy out to get started. All right, so let's just clear our energy a bit so we can get started. Take a minute to close your eyes. And take a deep breath in through the nose. Hold it. And out through the mouth. Again, we're going to go in through the nose. 1, 2, 3, and hold it. 1, 2, 3, and out through the mouth. 1, 2, 3. One more time. In through the nose. 1, 2, 3. Hold it. 1, 2, 3. Out through the mouth. 1, 2, 3. Just one more time. But I want to say, as you're blowing out, like I said before, if you make a noise, it helps. But imagine you're breathing in the light energy and blowing out the dark energy. All right, we're gonna do it one more time. In through the nose. 1, 2, 3. Hold it. Let all the toxic stuff gather, and push it out your mouth. 1, 2, 3. All right. And again, we're gonna imagine the universe is sending down healing light for us. It's coming down through the clouds, down through the sky, washing over our body, getting rid of all that heavy energy in our aura. Takes it down to the earth will take it for us. And then it comes into our body through the top of our head. Whew, I'm doing it with you. And it's relaxing. Okay, it's going down your head, relaxing your mind, relaxing your forehead and your face, the back of your head. Definitely relaxing your jaw. Relax your jaw, unclench. Down your neck. It's relaxing your shoulders. Down your arms and hands and fingers. And it keeps going down your body. It's going down your chest and your back and your sides and your stomach. And just feel it melting, everything. Oh, all the tension is starting to relax. It's going down your backside and your hips and your thighs. It's relaxing your pelvic area, down your legs, knees, bottom legs, and your feet and your toes, and runs right on out. And again, the earth will take that for you. Really visualize it. Just relaxes every muscle, every cell, every organ, everything. And take another breath in and out. All right, I needed that. Okay. Take a minute if you need it. And just clear your thoughts, and we're just gonna relax for a little bit here. However long you can hang out, hang out. If you gotta go, go. Come back later. There's no pressure here. We do what we need to do. And so when I asked my guides if there should be a theme this week, what I got was embracing transformation and renewal, because that's what keeps coming up. So that makes sense. So let's just do it like an opening reflection. That's what they're telling me to do. As the flower moon illuminates the sky, let us turn inward, embracing the transformative energies that guide us toward growth and renewal. And they want you to visualize releasing old patterns and welcoming new beginnings, knowing that the things coming for you are what's best for you and what you asked for. They want you to allow the full moon, this full moon in particular, allow its energy to cleanse and rejuvenate your spirit. This is all going to make for a better future for you, and not distant future, near future. And again, when you're ready, open your eyes, and if you brought your journal along, got some journaling prompts that I channeled, and just a couple. And if you didn't bring your journal, pause for a second and grab it if you want to. And I've got 3 of them. There probably will be more later, but this is just the initial, like, what should we be talking about this week and that kind of thing. So, all right. Number 1, what aspects of my life are ready for transformation? And they say go with what your intuition tells you first, before your brain has time to spin it and overthink and blah, blah, blah. Like, what is the first thing that comes through, or first 3 things or 10 things, whatever. What aspects of my life are ready for transformation? Number 2, how can I embrace change with grace and resilience? And then number 3, what truths have I uncovered about myself recently? Because the guides are saying it is a pattern that most of us will have recently figured some things out about ourselves that maybe we didn't realize before, or we didn't want to admit before, anything like that. And then the affirmation they want for this week, I welcome transformation with an open heart, trusting the journey ahead. I welcome transformation with an open heart, trusting the journey ahead. I'll go through those one more time just in case I went too fast. So the first, we're going to go 3 journaling prompts. Number 1, what aspects of my life are ready for transformation? Number 2, how can I embrace change with grace and resilience? Number 3, what truths have I uncovered about myself recently? And then the affirmation, I welcome transformation with an open heart, trusting the journey ahead. And there's a dog outside barking just for emphasis. Let me say thank you guys so much. I got so much response to the first Sunday service. People, liking it, having comments about it, having ideas, things they want to talk about. So I'm going to get through everything everybody says. So please, please feel free to reach out and say, I'd like to hear about this. I'm curious about learning about this. I'd like you to tap into this energy. Can you tell me about that? Like, please, that's what this is all about. So I'm going to try to get to all of them. There was quite a few. And I don't want to make this too long. So if it runs too long, I'll save some of them for next week and everything. I'm going to try to find a way to, I know there's a way to break videos down into chapters, but like I keep saying, I'm not a content creator, so I don't know all the ins and outs of stuff. If I can figure it out in time for Sunday, I will try to do that so that you can skip over things you don't want to hear. And I know we all don't have a lot of time, but try to stay relaxed just during this hour or so that we do this. Okay, so let's get to the first one. Okay, so the first thing, I was asked about, about other people's agendas for our life, when other people are, projecting their stuff onto us. People always have an idea about how you should live your life, right? And we kind of try to follow that most of our lives. When we're a child, we want to please our parents and our family and the people around us, and then we want to please our friends and who we want to date and our bosses and whatever. And eventually you reach a point where you're like, wait a minute, I'm not even living my own life. I'm living a life other people have told me I should live, right? Ultimately, we have to find our own inner guidance to find out what we are supposed to be doing, what we're being called to do. We'll have like repeating themes that show us where we're supposed to go, and we have to start paying attention to that. This is very common. This comes up a lot, and I always say it reminds me of anyone who's ever seen the movie The Runaway Bride, Julia Roberts, and she gets to a place where she realizes she doesn't even know how she likes her eggs because she's always just had it however the man she was with had it. And that's very real. Like, we get to a point where we realize, I don't even know how I think about things because I've always just kind of gone with what was around me. You know what I mean? So I wanted to talk about that because that is a common theme. And especially now, while people are waking up to things, they're waking up to like, who am I really? This isn't the career I wanted. This isn't the life I wanted. I was just kind of doing what I thought I was supposed to do, what my family does or what my friends do or whatever. And again, as children, like our parents have dreams for us, right? They want us to do well in school and do whatever was necessary to be what they thought would be our highest potential. And then again, like friends will try to, I don't know, tell you should go get this job or you should be with this, I'm going to set you up on a date with this perfect person, or, and then we get married or have significant others and they have agendas for it too. And, the people around us have ideas about how we should live our lives. And sometimes, usually, it's because they care about us and they want us to be happy and, whatever. But, a lot of times it comes from a very selfish place. And if we're honest with ourselves, we can find this in ourselves too. There are times when people want you to do things because it would make their life better. So if, how can I say this? Let's see. If somebody is my babysitter, but they're not really happy in the city we live in. Maybe I don't want them to move because, oh my gosh, what am I going to do for a babysitter now? It's that kind of thing. People will project that onto us. That happens a lot. It's very very common. But we have to come to a place where we understand that I cannot live my life pleasing everybody else. And people will automatically project onto us what they want us to do. So this is something some people, one person in particular asked me about, they're struggling with. All the ideas of what everybody else thinks you should do usually guide your life for a while till you wake up to like, this isn't even who I am. And it becomes overwhelming. We may care about the people and we don't want to hurt their feelings, but we have to get to the place where we can stand up and say, I can appreciate your opinion. I can appreciate, you think that's what's best for me, but I have to stand up and do what's right for me. And this is very important now as the empaths and energy workers and everybody are waking up. We're realizing like we were never meant to fit in these boxes that like society has put us in. So this is, I feel like, is an important question because we're going to be going, if you're not going through this now, you will be soon. Because not living authentically, again, particularly for light workers, empaths, we were not supposed to be part of this whole societal brainwashing thing. I'm not trying to get, political or whatever, but it's really bad for us energetically. We have to shift our perception to respectfully, I understand you think I should live my life this way. It's not what's authentic to me, and it's doing more harm than good, right? We have to find a way to stand up and acknowledge that we have to live the life that is authentic to us. Second, we have to find that, right? Okay, well, I've been living 30, 40 years this life. What is the life I'm meant to have? So again, the first step is, we can kind of tell our loved ones how much we appreciate their thoughts and ideas, but we need to live our own lives and make our own decisions. We can explain that, they need to let us learn from our own experiences rather than rob us of our own lessons we are meant to learn, things we are meant to do, right? Not living authentically is robbing yourself of the opportunity to, fine-tune your purpose. So I came up with a few things to try to help with this. So let's do this. I wrote all this stuff down. Okay, so if you are struggling with this, if not, I'm going to try to find a way for you to skip ahead. But if you are struggling with this, let's do this. Let's close our eyes again. I'm going to take a deep breath in through the nose. Whoosah, out through the mouth. And either say out loud or in your mind, this is a space to reconnect with my true self. Now visualize any fragments of your energy that are scattered through past relationships, stressful moments, overwhelming situations, whatever comes to mind. Now you see that energy returning to your body. You see it returning to your heart, calling back all your energy. And then you're going to say, I call back my power from every place I have left it. I am whole. I am centered. I am sovereign. My energy belongs to me. I honor it now. Take another deep breath in and out. Welcome home. Got your energy back. Do this every day if you need to until you feel like you have brought your energy back and other people are not pulling it in all these other directions. Okay? And of course, I'm all about the journaling, so if you got your journal, pull that out. So we're going to journal about where you have given your power away. All right? So the first one. Where in my life do I feel drained, overextended, or taken for granted? This is important. Okay, one more time. Where in my life do I feel drained, overextended, or taken for granted? Number 2. What boundary is asking to be set that I've ignored or been afraid to claim? Because it will nudge you. You'll be getting nudges. This will probably come to you right away. What boundary is asking to be set that I've ignored or been afraid to claim? And number 3, what does feeling empowered look and feel like to me? What does feeling empowered look and feel like to me? And again, this isn't about blame. It's just about finding the clarity. Power comes from knowing yourself, knowing what you need to do, what you have done, course correct, whatever. This isn't blaming you. This isn't blaming the other people. We're just trying to find it. We can't fix it if we can't find it. Okay. I want to tell you, it's usually hard for people who have been people pleasing and not wanted to make waves and, been trying to be what everyone has wanted us to be. It's hard to shift. It's hard to make that shift. And sometimes it'll feel like you're wrong to do it. And people will maybe try to make you feel like you're wrong to do it, and you're not. Boundaries are not walls. They're just protection for ourselves. They're bridges to healthier relationships. A boundary is not about controlling others. It's about protecting and directing your own energy. So you can state a boundary respectfully, right? I'm not available for that. That doesn't feel aligned for me. That kind of thing. You're not saying, no, your idea is stupid. You're just stating a fact. Like, I don't want to do that. Or, if somebody wants you to go somewhere, you don't want to go. Like, I'm not available. That doesn't interest me. It's okay. That's not in alignment with where I am right now. That's all. So, for the week, let's try to choose one small boundary that you will clearly and kindly communicate, right? So, for example, saying no to a commitment that you don't want to make. Do you want to go to dinner such and such? No, I don't. And that's okay, right? Or letting someone know that you need space. This is a little emotional. I need a little space right now. Let me regroup. Or if someone wants you to make a decision, you can say, I just need a little space to think about it. You don't have to be pressured to make a decision. So you can also be like, I need some quiet time during the day. And you don't have to explain it. If I'm at work and I'm stressed out, I need a minute for quiet. And I don't have to explain that. That's a big part of it. You don't have to explain yourself. So, one more thing to write down. Do this. Try to say this affirmation at least once a day through this week, okay? I trust myself to protect my peace. I honor my energy with every choice I make. That small shift can make a huge change. So I'm going to say it one more time. I trust myself to protect my peace. I honor my energy with every choice I make. I hope that helped a little. It's not something I can really do a whole lesson on Sunday service, but if it's important, I will write one. Let me know. I hope that helps a little. That'll at least get you started in the right direction. Okay, the next thing. Well, actually, first, let me say this. I don't know what this means, but for some reason, earlier in the week, this song popped in my head out of nowhere while I was doing a collective thing. And then twice throughout the week, I was watching TV, or I had it on, and this song was in the shows I watched, which is crazy because it's not a song you hear every day, or I don't anyway. So I'm just going to mention it in case it means something. I think the name of the song is, I'm probably going to say it wrong, like The Girl from Empanada or something like that. It's like da 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 da. That. So if that means something to someone, I don't know, but it came up 3 times. 3 is usually my sign. 3 times this week, so just had to mention it. I know it's been remade by tons of people. The one that I am familiar with is a Frank Sinatra version, I think it is, or one of those Brat Pack people. It's how I know it. But anyway, if that means anything to anyone, and I'm not sure what it is. It's like the girl from, I don't know the words, Empanita or Empanita or something like that. If you know, correct me. I don't know. Oh, by the way, while I'm asking for input, if you know how to break these down into chapters so I can make it easier for everybody, please let me know, because I'm not sure how. I'll try to figure it out, but it's already Friday I'm doing this, so hopefully I can figure it out by Sunday. Okay, the next thing. So, if you remember in last week's Sunday service, there was a message about someone or some people getting a message via a new pet or animal, right? If it's like somebody's pet, it's a pet you haven't met before, or if you get a new pet, or if you see a new squirrel or deer outside or something. Okay, so that happened. Then someone asked this question I'm about to talk about. I thought, okay, well, maybe there's something to that. We'll answer that. And then someone booked a one-on-one call, and it came up in that call. So I feel like this might be something in the air right now going on with maybe multiple people. So we're going to touch on animal messengers and, signs from nature. So animals are divine messengers. They're used quite a bit through spirit. And the more you get into your kind of awakening or get deeper into your being an empath, energy worker, light worker, starseed, whatever form of that you are or whatever you call yourself, the deeper you get into that, the more you will get messages via like animals and nature and stuff like that. Whether it's like sometimes you'll see a bird on your window or a spider in your path or have a random dream about a wolf or whatever. There's meaning in that moment. Nature doesn't waste energy. So like every encounter like that is intentional. So some things to think about, like let's just look back, and again, if you want to pull out your journal, great. Don't have to. Look at like what animals have shown up for you recently. Whether you're an animal person or not, although it will probably happen more if you are an animal person, because then you're more aware of the animals that are around you. So like when an animal shows up for you, did you feel something shift when you saw them? Or like, what were you thinking about, or what were you feeling just before it happened, or just after? A lot of times it's a sign, especially if you're like asking a question to spirit, or if you're looking for a sign. A lot of times it will show up again via animals or nature in general. I want you to start looking at maybe keep a small journal or like little phone note about animal messengers, because the more you're aware of it, the more signs you will get. So kind of look at throughout the week at least, like what animal or animals do you see, even on social media or in dreams or something. Just be aware of it. And how did it make you feel? And try to think of like, what might its message be? When you start paying attention to this, over time, patterns will emerge. Like you'll start to see patterns in this. I get a lot of messages via animals in nature and music. A lot of signs through music and TV shows and movies. But that's how my guides contact me. And I was saying this to a couple of people this past week. Your guides will communicate in a way that works for you. If you're not an animal person, you won't get as many messages that way. If you're not a music person, you won't get messages via music. It's like whatever your personality is, wherever you're paying attention, that's how they'll reach out to you. And I'm going to talk about that next. That's another question somebody asked. But just try to pay attention and take notes on it, and you'll start to see a pattern. And you'll start to see like, oh, when I'm thinking this shows up, or I asked this question and I got this sign. So let me talk about that too, and maybe if you want to jot this down. a couple of things to look for. Butterflies. If you're questioning whether you directly ask spirit or not, you're just kind of pondering it, speaking to your higher self. If a butterfly shows up, that usually represents transformation, letting go, being free, growth. You know how a butterfly goes from the cocoon to become a butterfly. Hawks. Hawks represent like seeing things from a higher perspective, divine timing, that kind of thing. Cats represent independence, intuition. Cats are very spiritual beings. They're very in tune. And again, they're very independent. So dogs represent loyalty, unconditional love, right? Exactly what they are. Seeing deer can represent like gentleness, grace under pressure, that kind of thing. There may be certain animals, again, in particular to you, it's about your personality, what you resonate with. So just kind of take note of like what notes you see commonly. And again, it could be in your backyard, it could be on social media, emails you get, people post little things with animals. So just like take note of what you see the most, and like you can Google, what does this mean? What does this represent? Whatever. Or you can meditate on it and find the meaning of the animals that show up for you. And just trust what resonates with you most, because this is a huge thing for us right now, is learning to hear our intuition, learning to trust our intuition. So like this week, maybe ask spirit to send you a sign through an animal, and then pay attention. There's no coincidences, only conversations with the universe, and the universe will speak to you the best way to speak to you. So how the universe speaks to me may not speak to you the same way. You have to find, for those of you that I keep saying this to, I apologize, you have to hear it again, but you have to find your language with spirit, because they were going to reach out to you the way that is best for you. Which brings me to the next thing we're going to talk about. Boy, everything comes full circle in 2025, doesn't it? Okay, so then the next thing. I was asked about receiving messages from spirit, from your guides, from your higher self, your intuition. I was asked, like, how do you know that this is your intuition, or this is a message from your guides and you're not just making it up? Most of us have seen too much TV, right? So we think messages from spirit comes as, a flash in the sky and the ground parting and all that. And the truth is, it's much more subtle. So you will find yourself saying, am I imagining that? Or am I creating that in my mind? Or was that just a thought I had? So I'm going to talk about that a little bit. I want to be careful with this, because I really want you to understand, because I feel like a lot of people are going to be going through this year. Getting more in tune with their intuition and hearing from their guides, hearing from the universe. A lot more conversation going on, and a lot of people's guides are trying to find the best way in, the best way to reach you. So, like I said, it mostly comes very subtly. It can show up in a few ways, and again, it's what works best getting to you. So a lot of stuff will come via like your inner voice, your thoughts. You may hear words, hear entire thoughts as your own inner head voice. This happens to me all the time. So unless you're actually meditating and trying to get messages, if you're just going about your day and blah, 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 and whatever, you'll get a message in your head, and then you'll think it was just like a thought you had. And I don't know how many times before I really got serious about this, I thought I just had random thoughts. Like I wasn't thinking about that thing. Oh, this random thought just came in my head. No, that was a message. So a lot of times it'll come in and it will sound like your own inner voice. Your own, we've got our vocals, right? What we sound like, why we think we sound funny on recordings. We have that voice. Then we have the voice in our head, what we sound like in our head, and it comes through that way. So if you're not quiet, if you're not clearing your thoughts, you'll think it's just another thought you're having. A lot of people get messages that way because it's the best way to get to us, or the least frightening way to get to us. So you have to get to a place where you can decipher between your head voice and the voice of messages. I hope that makes sense. The best way to do that, again, is to, whatever it takes for you to get in, quote unquote, your zone, where you don't necessarily have to be meditating, but your mind has to be clear. Like your thoughts, you've quieted your thoughts. And some people have to meditate. Some people can do this while doing the dishes, or driving is a good one. It's that being in that energy of, you don't have your monkey brain where your brain's jumping all over the place. So whatever you do throughout your day where you're in that kind of zone, that's the best time to listen for those messages. Another way it can come is feelings in your body. You might get chills, or suddenly feel like a heavy weight. Or you might get a sense of peace, or just a knowing in your gut or in your chest. You might get sudden clarity or insight, like something just clicks into place. Or you just know something with no evidence. I talked about this a couple times this week too, about how the best way I can explain this is, if you meet someone, you don't know them, you don't know stuff about them, they haven't told you the personal details of their life, and yet you just kind of know something about them. I know a big one is like, you meet somebody and they act very happy-go-lucky, blah, blah, blah. There's no reason to doubt that this is a happy person, and yet you just kind of know they're not happy. Like something's wrong with them. So this plays out a lot as like, I will be talking to someone and I just feel like I need to ask, like, are you okay? And they're like, yeah, I'm fine. What do you mean? And they're very jolly, but it's like this gnawing. I just know they're not okay and they need to talk. That can happen a lot, especially for empaths, because you pick up on people's emotions, their energy, the energy they're in, even if they're portraying themselves to be happy or just not upset. Another way, dreams or visions. You might see symbolic images or people or colors or symbols while you're dreaming or while you're meditating or daydreaming, whatever the case may be. Signs and synchronicities, repeating numbers, again, songs, animals. Sometimes, like, you'll overhear conversations that seem perfectly timed, like you're struggling with something, and then you happen to hear somebody in the grocery store talking about that very thing. Okay, let me just say, coincidences are bullshit. That is not real. That is what people have just written it off as, rather than actually, because we're not allowed to be free thinkers. We're not allowed to be spiritual. So they've just kind of said, nope, that's coincidence. Coincidences are bullshit. They don't exist. Sorry. So most people miss messages because they expect it to be like this dramatic thing. But again, spirit tends to whisper, not shout. So you kind of have to quiet the noise to hear it. And this is why I'm always like, clear your energy, quiet your mind. If you don't meditate, work on meditating. And again, meditating takes time. So don't beat yourself up like, oh, my mind wanders, or I fall asleep, or just keep trying. It's like anything else. Just keep trying. So I came up with a couple of exercises if you're interested in testing this. Because again, I feel like this is coming up a lot this year. So the first thing, we're going to do the yes-no body test, muscle testing. If you want to grab your journal. So this is like a great starting point. So the first thing, we're going to stand still, eyes closed, feet flat. I'll try to go slow in case you're writing it down. And then next, say out loud, my name is, whatever your name is. You usually sway slightly forward. Then say, my name is, and give a fake name. You'll sway backward. Right? So try using this to ask yes or no questions, like, is this job aligned for me? Or is this person safe to trust, right? If the answer is yes, you'll probably sway forward. If the answer is no, you'll probably sway backward. Another way you can do this is have a yes or no question in mind, close your eyes, and sit with your palms up, okay? And say to spirit, however you want to say it, but I'm just giving you an example. Say, my right hand is yes, my left hand is no. Then you ask the question, and you'll feel like a slight weight change in one of the hands, or you'll feel like a tickle or prickly or something. It's very subtle, but you'll feel, if the answer is yes, you'll feel it in the hand you said is yes. If it's no, it'll be the hand you said is no. So I don't know if I need to give you time to pause if you need to write that down. So it was, you can do the standing sway test. Generally, you'll sway forward if the answer is yes. You'll sway back if the answer is no. And again, the way to test that, just to start it, is to begin it by saying, my name is, and give your real name, and you'll sway forward. And then say, my name is, and give a fake name, and you'll probably sway backward. If it's opposite for you, that's okay too, because again, it's your language. It's how your guides talk to you. Then the other one again is the hand test. Tell spirit, this hand's yes, this hand's no. Ask the question. Okay? Okay, the next thing you can try. You can ask for a sign. So before you go to bed, when you get quiet, say something along these lines. Again, find your language, but say, spirit, show me a clear sign tomorrow about whatever your question is, through an animal, song, or number, right? You're giving them exact choices so that you're not just looking all over, right? It's either going to be one of these three things. So say, spirit, show me a clear sign tomorrow about whatever, through an animal, song, or number. Or you can change it to what resonates with you. Just give specific options, okay? So there's no question. Then let go and go about your day. And then notice what repeats, what stands out, or gives you a strong emotional reaction. That'll be your sign. All right. Last one. So this is automatic writing, okay? So you just sit with a notebook, take a few deep breaths. Again, we want to get centered and clear our head. And then just ask, what do I need to know today? And you just start writing, whatever flows. Don't overthink it. Just let your hand go. And it may sound like your own voice, like your head will tell you to write something, but let that go and watch, because usually some wisdom will come through that surprises you. Like, I didn't know that. How could I know that? How could my own thought have known that? Just give it a try. And again, everything takes practice. So if it doesn't work the first time, just try it again. These aren't difficult things, so it doesn't hurt to try it again. So like, when this happens, if you're like everybody else and you're asking like, what if I'm just making this up? That's actually a great sign, because it means you're self-aware, right? But keep practicing, because it's like the more you get messages about things that you have no way of knowing, the more you can be sure, like, there's no way I could have known that. I can't make that up. Does that make sense? So just keep practicing, and the more you trust, the clearer it becomes. That's the whole thing, is learning to trust yourself, because you guys all have the ability to do this. It's just a matter of trusting it, like thinking, I'm making this up, or this is crazy, because it goes against what we've been taught. So just keep practicing that. Spirit doesn't communicate with fear or pressure. Okay? You don't need to fear it. And obviously, if a message brings peace or clarity or some kind of truth, it's probably real. I hope that helps a little bit. I know it's too much to like do in one video, but I hope that will get you started at least. And usually once you get the ball rolling on something, it will just flow. So at least that'll get you going.